In the autumn of 1980, a little boy named Lance and his father, Gary, lived in a log cabin deep within a mysterious forest. This forest was known as Anarest. Lance had been forbidden by his father to leave home since childhood. His father always told him, "Do not step out of this fence. The world beyond the fence is too dangerous for you." One day, Lance spotted a footprint that resembled a goat's footprint. He decided to follow it to see where it led. Unfortunately, he ran into his father, and he was punished by being grounded. For the sake of his freedom and future, he made up his mind to sneak out from home. And so, his journey began. In the midst of a mysterious and eerie forest is the place where a young boy Lance and his father Gary lived. Their small log cabin was surrounded by towering trees. The boy and his father had finished their daily chores, seemingly in harmony, and were preparing to enjoy their dinner. Everything appeared tranquil, yet the boy remained silent throughout dinner. Little did they know, a bold idea was brewing in the boy's heart. That night, beneath the red moon and amidst the howling winds, Lance nervously opened the door, his heart racing uncontrollably. It was his first act of defiance against his father. He sneaked out from home, guided by his own curiosity, leaving the safety of their home, and ventured into the forest. Since Lance was a child, he had been entirely dependent on his father. For as long as he could recall, his father had consistently warned him, never set foot beyond the fence, not even a step into the woods, no matter the reason. And you wouldn't want to know how dangerous that forest can be. Despite his growing sense of curiosity and fascination with the forest mysteries, he had always kept his father's warning in mind. However, after one day of chores, while his father was busy preparing dinner, Lance found himself alone in the yard, playing with his ball. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept out of the forest, causing the ball to roll unexpectedly beyond the fence. He stared at the dark and unknown forest. After careful consideration, Lance decided to step out to retrieve his ball. As he bent down to pick up the ball, his father's angry voice rang out from behind. His father approached in a fury, scolding him. "What are you doing out here? Haven't I told you not to step beyond the fence? Now, go inside immediately, and you are not allowed out for a week." Although Lance felt aggrieved and angry at the time, he discovered something unexpected on the ground, a set of footprints that seemed to lead into the forest. During the time he was grounded in his room, the boy couldn't stop thinking about those mysterious footprints. Fueled by a mix of emotions, he made a decision. He decided to leave, embarking on a journey into the unknown forest, following both his curiosity and his longing for freedom.
He walked out of the fence and followed the footprints all the way. At the end of the footprints, he saw a black creature. As he approached, he accidentally awakened it. It was a goat. The goat was in shock and ran instinctively. "Hey friend, chill out, I won't hurt you," Lance shouted at the goat. The goat stopped running as if it could understand what Lance had just said. They looked into each other's eyes as they approached and checked that neither was hostile. The goat asked him with a shaky voice, "Why are you here, and what are you doing?" "Oh, you can talk," Lance answered in shock. The goat remained silent, and Lance continued, "I ran away from my house, and I saw footprints. Then I decided to follow them to see where they led." The goat seemed to calm down and asked him, "Why did you run away?" My father has a rule that I have to stay at my house and I'm not permitted to cross the fence around my house. But I decided to sneak out and see what the rule really is, Lance responded. Me too, the girl responded with a sense of empathy. I ran away and have never been this far before and got lost. Let's make a deal. You show me around this forest and I'll help you find your way home. Okay, the girl responded happily. My name is Gloria. What about you? My name is Lance. The journey soon began after their brief introduction. They walked so far along that they didn't know how far they had gone. Suddenly, an icy dread spread down Lance's body. He heard rustling in the bushes, caused by the animal. Lance started to panic and whispered for help. What should we do? Calm down and stop moving, Gloria commanded like an experienced hunter. When they were frozen, the mysterious creature showed itself. It was a bear. They started moving soon after Cub walked away. Whew, I thought we were going to be its dinner tonight. Lance felt relieved. Let's go, Gloria grinned and responded. Lance felt starved after such a long walk and asked Gloria jokingly, Aren't you scared if I eat you? No, you won't. How do you know? Lance responded. I just know, Gloria said. There are still some nice people like you. So do not judge a book by its cover. This world may be dangerous. You can't ignore its beauty, right? Gloria added. Yeah, Lance nodded. Maybe it's not as dangerous as Dad told me. Lance thought. Let's find somewhere to rest. It was lucky that they found a cave to rest, and there was a pomegranate tree outside it. After eating some pomegranates, they cuddled in the cave and drifted off to sleep. The next day, Lance woke up under the sunlight, rubbing his eyes sleepily, and realized that Gloria was gone. On the ground, there was only a small tuft of black wool that had fallen from Gloria. Lance picked it up carefully and put it in his pocket. Stepping out of the cave, Lance ventured deeper into the forest. After passing through several thickets, he was captivated by the sound of the majestic waterfall. Lance pushed aside the bushes and entered. What lay ahead astonished him. It was a magnificent waterfall, and downstream was a clear lake adorned with colorful gems. Lance sat by the lake, watching the fish swim freely and gazing at the waterfall, savoring the tranquility surrounded by nature. Just as he was immersed in the moment, he was jolted back to the reality by vibration shaking all around him. When Lance was startled by the tremors, he looked up to see a male bear stepping heavily, emerging from the center of the waterfall. The bear roared at the sky a few times before its gaze shifted to Lance. It approached Lance with heavy steps, finally stopping and glaring menacingly at the small Lance. I am Wallace, the guardian of this territory. Anyone who enters this domain must face punishment, declared the bear. Lance was forced step by step toward the edge of the lake. One more step, and I'll fall into the lake. No one can save me. What should I do? Lance panicked. In desperation, Lance began to cry loudly. Upon seeing the tiny Lance sobbing, Willie's expression softened. Child, are you lost? Willie said gently. No, I ventured into this forest against my father's orders. He forbade me to come here, so I was venturing, Lance replied. Looking at Lance's innocent expression, Willis recalled a familiar scene. I have a child about your age. During a disagreement, he suddenly left my side. I don't know where he is now. or when he will come back to me. I miss him terribly." In front of Lance, Willis revealed a different side of himself. His child was his last defense and the most vulnerable part of his heart. "If you don't mind, I'm willing to help you find your child. I'm sure he missed you too," Lance said, his eyes filled with determination. Suddenly, Lance remembered seeing a bear cub when he was exploring the forest with Gloria. He led Willis back to the bushes where he had encountered the cub. As expected, the bear cub was sleeping peacefully next to the bushes. "That's my beloved son," Willis said, rushing forward to embrace him. "Father, are you my father?" the bear cub said, choked with emotion. "Yes, I've been worried about you. Do you know that? Let's go home together. Don't wander alone in this forest anymore. I fear for your safety," Willis said. "I understand. Let's go home, my dear father," the bear cub said, wiping away tears and looking up at his father with a smile. "Thank you for helping me find my son. As a token of my gratitude, I'll give you this gem from the lake." Willis bowed deeply to Lance. "You're welcome," Lance replied, bowing back and accepting the gem from him. After bidding farewell to Willis and the bear cub, Lance wandered alone in the forest again. Watching the reunion of Willis and his son made Lance recall his father's warnings. Perhaps his father prohibited him from venturing outside the fence because he wanted to protect him. Lance had acted recklessly and ventured into the forest. Now, what advantage had it brought him? "I wonder if my father is anxiously waiting for me to come home," Lance pondered.
After Lance had put down his stuff, he lay on the ground and tried to fall asleep. By the time he was almost dozing off, he saw a pair of gleams in the cave. He opened his eyes and wanted to figure out what it was. Suddenly, the gleams approached Lance like a flash. Lance was terrified, but when he saw it, he felt relief. A furry, puffy, and big-eyed owl was standing in front of him.
"Ooh, ooh, ooh. What are you doing here, human?" said the owl.
"I'm trying to take a rest right now."
"Ah." Lance stayed with a yawn.
"My name is Ben and it's very early right now. Come on, I want to show you how this forest looks at night," said Ben. Before Lance could reject, Ben held his hand and dragged him out of the cave. Lance followed Ben to a lake with some fog above. "What do you want me to see?" asked Lance.
"Shh, be quiet," Ben said and used his feather to cover Lance's mouth.
All of a sudden, some green lights appeared with the moonlight and fog, making the lake a fairyland. As soon as Lance saw it, he opened his mouth wide. He had never seen a place like this before. He hugged Ben and thanked him delightfully. After seeing such a gorgeous scene, Lance and Ben found a place to sit. Although Lance was in a good mood, he still had some questions to ask. "Ben, we have only met for a short time. Why do you take me to that lake?" Ben stood up and asked Lance to follow him.
"Owls are alone after we grow up. We don't meet our parents or siblings again. I have been living alone for many years. I don't even have a friend to chat with. It's a terrible way to live. You will feel freedom when you are alone, but you will feel lonely as well,"
said Ben. "Will I become a lonely person when I get older?" asked Lance.
"You have a family, right? They will never gonna give you up, let you down, or desert you. They will always be on your side when you need company,"
said Ben. Will I escape from my home? My father will not let me get in again. Even though he let me in, he won't let me go out again, said Lance. He will let you in, and he will let you spread your wings one day. I promise. Take this and go home, boy, said Ben. When Lance turned aside, Ben was gone. Lance was curious about what Ben wanted to give. Meanwhile, Lance found out that his home was near. He realized what Ben had given him and started heading home.
In the evening, Lance cautiously pushed open the front door with a nervous heart, anticipating scolding from his dad. However, he didn't expect his dad's immediate concern, bordering on tears as he rushed to his side. Son, why did you leave for so long? I was incredibly worried about you. Being out there alone is so dangerous. Did anyone bully you? His dad asked, holding back tears. I'm sorry, Dad. I shouldn't have just run away from home like that. It's just that I had so much curiosity about the outside world. This experience made me realize how vast the world is, and I need to explore it on my own to grow. I know you love me, but learning and growing are ultimately my tasks. Lance explained. His dad fell silent for a moment, and then embraced Lance tightly, saying, I understand. I've been overly protective because I was so afraid of you getting hurt. I know you're brave. You'll always be my pride. Just promise me not to wander off like that again, and I will support all your decisions. Suddenly, Lance remembered the gift Ben had given him. He took it out and shared it with his dad. Upon opening it, they found the stone. What's this? Did you pick up some random souvenir on your journey? His dad inquired. No, it's not. This was given to me by a companion I met on the road, and I'm not sure what it is. Lance began explaining. Still, as he did, the stone suddenly displayed various memories on its surface, which showed his dad's despondent demeanor since he left, and Lance's solo adventures in the forest. Father and son watched the memories the storm projected, and they held each other tightly, shedding tears. In that moment, they both gained a deeper understanding of each other's thoughts and cherished each other as their important individuals. The storm became a pivot between them, helping them grow closer and cherish each other. The final imagery displayed their happiness as they embraced, and all the beautiful memories they would create together in the future.